Hi, and welcome to episode 39 of Talking Small Press Comics with
39.
Steve Keeter and me, Larned Justin, plus our special guest, the event coordinator and producer of the Small Press and Alternative Comics Expo, Bob Corby. Welcome, Bob.
Hey, hi guys. Thanks.
Hey, glad you can make it.
Bob, great to see you for the first time. I've seen pictures of you. I've seen your comics, but
I try to hide.
Yeah, well, that's probably a good idea. So we got a bunch of questions. We want to get, all the viewers need to know about what's going on in space and all that kind of thing. So I was going to ask you, how long ago did you start space?
Space started in the year 2000.
2000. Okay.
2000.
Let's miss that Space 1999 bit thing.
Just a little.
You went
And
further.
what made you decide to do that? That's a lot of work, I know.
I had been doing like Mid-Ohio Con and a few other, standard comic book conventions, and they had been slowly shifting to pop culture con.
Mainstream more.
And comics became like something
Oh.
in the back. Even the mainstream guys.
Oh, okay.
They were being overpowered by the wrestlers and the models and
Right.
Which, so that's kind of fun stuff.
It's okay.
But it became harder and harder to sell a comic that nobody heard of before they showed up in front of my table.
Yeah.
So I thought, if we just get rid of all those people that are just taking up the space I'm sorry to say, taking up space in that room, and we just people who are actually interested in these kind of books, that we might have a better chance and make a little bit of money and get the word out. So
you did it. Huh.
Started working on that, around 1999, and we had it ready to roll. I believe it was Tax Day in 2000. April 5th was the first show at the location at the state fairgrounds here in town. Mm-hmm. It's actually supposed to be called the Ohio Expo Center, but everybody here in town knows it as the fairgrounds. We were there for 4 years and then found someplace I thought was a little better, and we wound up back there after about 4 or 5 other venues. So
okay. I know it used to only be one day. I remember when I first started going, it was only Saturday. One day. Yeah.
Turns out that getting the second day didn't cost that much more. So
it's much better. For people to travel from out of town, it's so much better to have 2 days.
I get both versions of that. Some people say it's not worth me going there unless it's more than 1 day, and some people say, well, I can't spend 2 days there.
You can't please everybody, right?
No. If I only have one person upset with me at the end of every space,
that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Go ahead, Steve. I know you got some questions.
Yeah, well, if it's a Small Press and Alternative Comics Expo, I suppose people expect the mainstream, the big conventions. The San Diego convention and MegaCon in Orlando is a really big one. They're like 4 days and, take up an entire convention center and stuff. So we're talking a Small Press and Alternative Comics Expo, which hadn't really been done before. I mean,
I did not know of any.
Actually, third. SPX started it all.
I've heard of that. Too far away.
And Ape was the second one in. And then there was kind of mixed in with all that, the Spirits of Independence shows kind of just had a 1 year go around, and some of them developed, like Ape, I think was one of the first one was a stop, and SPX was a stop. And then like Pittsburgh, I think, had their show continue for a year or two, and ICE in Chicago continued for a few years, and then they died off. But so right now, I guess Ape hasn't happened in the last couple of years, and I don't know if that's
where was Ape at?
Ape was in I want to say San Diego, maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah, that would be out for me.
It was taken over by the Comic-Con people for a while.
Oh,
Slave labor graphics started it, and I think they gave it back to them at some point, and he had it. I'm trying to think, Dan Ando had it for 1 year, and then it disappeared after that. So we're second oldest.
Well, space is the one. Space is the one that I've been hearing about for all these years, and I never was able to make it up there. I mean, I'm all the way down in Orlando, Florida, and it's way up there in Columbus, Ohio. I know, so I would go, if I went to a convention, to be whatever was here, but I kept hearing every year, I'm hearing about space. I'm hearing about space and how great it is, and all the incredibly talented people in the comic small press were going there and telling me about this. I remember my old pal Tim Corrigan, R.I.P. Tim Corrigan, he passed away a long time ago.
yeah.
I thought I saw a video online, I definitely did, where he received a Lifetime Achievement Award at Space. And I'm just wondering, what do you remember about that? Are there videos around?
There's a video, if you go over to my YouTube channel, it's just Bob Corby. And there's that somebody did record that session where we gave Tim,
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Well deserved, I'll tell you.
That's where I actually met Tim in person, was always at Space, and we became very good friends, and really miss him, really do.
Yeah, I met him, finally, had been reading Small Press Comics Explosion since it started, and finally met him at a Mid Ohio Con. Out front.
Out front. Was he smoking? Was he smoking a little something? Yeah. That was Tim.
I don't think.
I don't know what it was either, but
he didn't do that, did he?
Oh, it was a little thing he was smoking.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
He used to come down to Orlando. He used to come down to Orlando in the winter because it's cold up there in New York. So he would come down. He would come down and visit, and he stayed with my wife and me a couple of times, and then he stayed with a bunch of people in a tent outside of town. Well, Tim was unique. And he did what he did, and he inspired a lot of people. He certainly did.
Certainly did.
But so he definitely deserved that Lifetime Achievement Award.
Absolutely.
I know he mentioned it to me, and he was very proud of that.
Many times he was called the father of small press. Many times.
That's how I got in. I picked up a copy of Small Press Comics Explosion.
Yeah, me too.
The one. Well, it wasn't the Laughing Over. It was Wizard of Comics, which occupied the space that is now the back room of the Laughing Over shop, where we have our pre-parties for Space every year.
I was going to ask, are you going to have a pre-party there this year, Friday night, or?
I need to talk to Gib, but I think they're all in for that. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. That would be great. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask, how did you get hooked up with Dave Sim?
I think I had asked a number of people whether they were interested in coming. No money involved here.
Right.
So I had talked to a bunch of people, and Dave said, no thanks, the first year, and that's, I said, okay, well, thanks. But I asked him mostly because we had a Spirits of Independence stop here back in 1995, and I wanted to continue that. It was actually supposed to be part of the Mid Ohio Con and kind of just disappeared after a year or two. And so that was kind of the introduction into there. I said, I like to do another one of those because it went so well here in Columbus. Well, he said, no, he's busy trying to finish up Cerebus. And then the following year, I don't know if I asked him again or he just contacted me and said he wanted to start the day prize and that he thought Space would be a good place to do that. So we did that for about 8 years and he gave away here. And then he eventually, I think he ran, he just spent a lot of money doing this. And I think kind of the money dried up on him. and so we bowed out.
Well, the thing was,
yeah,
when I was there,
yeah.
he bought dinner for every exhibitor, order from the menu whatever you wanted. It didn't matter. And he paid for all of it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
That was something.
Well, I don't know who his bookkeeper is, but
I don't know. Did he make that kind of money from Cerebus or
He must have.
something else?
I think it was pretty lucrative, but
yeah.
And
I had like the first 50 issues of Cerebus. I had all of the early issues, you know.
Well, when I went there and met him, I didn't have any idea what he did. Not a clue.
Incredible talent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cerebus, unbelievable.
Yeah. And he had his background artist, Gerhard, was also there.
Gerhard's a good guy. Gerhard was actually here, trying to think, a few years back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I remember the first couple of issues of Cerebus, and there was one issue where he was working very fast, and he wanted to save time on the artwork, and I believe he had his wife put in the background, the black backgrounds and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He had her fill in the blacks, and he thought, well, what difference is it going to make? She's just going to fill in the blacks, and but you could tell something was amiss. It didn't quite look right. He mentioned that in the following issue. Same thing. You're just filling in blacks. How could this possibly affect the artwork? But it did somehow, and he didn't try that again. He did it all on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see what else we got. You got anything else, real quick, Steve, here that you wanted to ask? I know I
got all kinds of notes and stuff. Were there other people who influenced or inspired you when you first began working on space? Are there other people who you work with or have worked with, that have made their mark on this convention?
Originally it was just me and my wife, Kathy, my late wife, unfortunately. And she always had a lot of good ideas of things I, just wasn't thinking about, and more the business end of it.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, definitely we wouldn't have, I don't even think we'd have the atmosphere we do at Space if it wasn't for her.
Yeah, probably.
She was always there greeting, I was running around. She stayed at the
table. Yeah.
And just
I remember
everybody, and was very gracious and it just, nobody felt threatened.
And that's awesome. When you have that kind of support from a spouse or a loved one,
Yeah, that's great.
She was always very open and very warm, and we miss her a lot.
I'm sure you do.
Sure.
And then Tom Williams, of course, has done most of
the posters.
I kind of like that because Tom has kind of that style that most people think, okay, what's this all about?
Yeah, really cool. I was going to ask you about the Space Prize. Can you tell us what that's all about?
Okay, every year, last 2 years, we didn't do it because of COVID, but every year we collect comics at Space, and they can be entered into 3 different categories: graphic novel, mini comics, and general for kind of regular comic size stuff. Or to try to define that is almost impossible
these days.
Right, there's a lot of crossover.
So I have basically limited it to page count more than actual final format. I think a graphic novel is anything more than 64 pages. General is between 28 and 64, and then mini comics are under 28. Just to kind of shift them through.
That's a good idea.
So we get, I think last year we probably had about 120 entries.
Oh, wow.
In those 3 groups. And we also have a junior, small press junior prize for kids.
Now, is there do we take a comic up to a table, or do you come around? Or?
I will have a box.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I just got rid of it down in the basement not too long ago.
Get it back out.
We're still judging 2022 right now. I'm waiting on one more judge.
Oh, you haven't awarded 2022
No. We read the books. I read all the books I picked.
I I didn't know you could read. Okay.
No, see, some prizes don't read them.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we read all. I read all the books. I pick
Okay.
finalists, and then I have two other judges
Mhm.
who also read each of the, in
Mhm.
the two categories. So everybody reads those finalist books, and they pick their first, second, and third. And then I assign. I'm an old track guy, so first place is 5 points, second place is 3 points,
Yeah.
this is 1 point. So I assign points to them based on the judges, and also the exhibitors of that year
Hmm.
get to vote on their favorites in each category, and the combined, whatever wins that group, that acts as one of the judges. So there's essentially 3 judges. See, I wanted them involved because it's a community.
Oh yeah,
But
sure.
I didn't want to trust them that they're not just all voting for their friend.
Yeah.
And we don't allow you to vote for yourself.
Yeah. Well,
There
that's
you
good.
go. You
That's
shouldn't
good.
allow that.
Yeah.
Everybody-
If you're going to be a judge, you can't vote for yourself.
Right.
Honestly, with the community we have, I would think a lot of them would just vote for somebody else anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Because we're all supporting each other.
Right.
Hmm.
It's great if you get self-promotion, but you want to
And I
support other people. That's kind of what this show's all about, just supporting
think-
all of small press,
I
Yeah.
think over the years, only one person's ever said, well, if I can't vote for myself, I'm not.
Is that right? Well, then get out.
Yeah. I mean, I've had to deal with that because I'm the chairman of the UFO, the United Fanzine Organization, and it's been around for like 50 years. And I've been chairman on and off for like 50 years, no kidding. And but we have an annual UFO awards. Hadn't always happened, but when it did, and that question came up too, should you vote on your own publications? And there were people who I remember I got a ballot. This is decades ago, but somebody sent me a ballot, and every single category they voted for themselves. And I just said, no, this isn't
Come
right.
on.
This isn't right. We're supporting each other.
Right.
Yeah.
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 It's better to do it that way and save some time. And
Yeah. And it's admirable to me to hear that you read every single one of these books.
Yeah, that's great.
But you
Well,
read every single book.
I always tell everybody the Space Prize is like the biggest scam ever thought of because I get all these books.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
We do have to award prizes, so
Yeah.
it evens out.
I've always noticed about Columbus, in Columbus, you seem to have a lot of small press comic book creators.
Right.
I know,
Started way back in the review zines.
uh-huh,
The very first O Comics was done in 1988.
uh-huh.
And that was because was it Fantasy Frontiers? Remember that review zine?
That I don't remember.
In the 80s.
Rings a bell, actually.
I discovered Michael Nino.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Michael Nino, he's a great guy.
Doing, Prince Bartholomew and writing in and sending his publications in. And I thought, oh, he's from Columbus.
Yeah.
And
There's
Mike Toth, who I think lives near Akron now, or is in Akron now. But he was here at Ohio State for a few years. And
Ray Tomzak. Ray Tomzak and I.
Ray, I'm trying to think where I met Ray. I met a lot of these guys the very first time we had O Comics at Mid-Ohio Con.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a table. And, there was like 4 of us that were contributors to O Comics sitting there, and a lot of people showed up. I met Mike Carroll there the first time.
Yeah, Mike Carroll. Yeah.
And maybe Ray, and I'm not sure about. I know I met Max Inc. somewhere in there.
Oh, Max.
Yeah,
I
I remember
Max. An old
Max.
pal. Mhm.
Yeah.
Us 4 of us became the Invisible Artists for a while and used to meet like every other week or something like that here in town.
Yeah, wow, that's great. I don't think I know anybody here in St. Louis. Maybe one guy, Micah Leisenfeld. I know him, but
What's the comic shop Clipper?
Yeah.
Star Clipper?
Star Clipper used to be the big comic book here store here. I don't think they're in business anymore as far as I don't think so.
That was a nice shop.
If they are, I don't know where it is.
They had a nice rack of small press books.
Yeah, they did. In fact, I think I had a couple books in there at one time.
Local.
Yeah. We had at least one small press show here years ago at the City Museum.
Yeah.
which was a really neat venue.
Star Clipper involved in that? Because
Yeah, they were.
I think I almost signed up for that, but something.
Really?
Good, yeah.
Yeah, they had two guests who I cannot think of right at this moment. But anyway, they had two well-known mainstream comic book guys as guests for that show. I can't remember who they were. So they couldn't have been too important.
Yeah. Going back to the Columbus being a mecca comics, we also have CCAD, which churns them out, a bunch of them out every year. So
what's that? What is
CCAD? Columbus College of Art and Design.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
They do have a major in comics now. So,
oh, that's neat.
And I've invited them. I found out Laura McCubbin, who runs the program, was making her students table at Space. I said, well, you didn't tell me that. I would have, I just feel bad that I'm forcing these kids to buy tables. Last couple of years, I've donated a few tables to them so they can.
Oh, good. Well, that's nice. Yeah. Wow.
That's amazing.
I think that you're doing that. I appreciate it, but man, I feel guilty now.
Yeah, really.
I was gonna.
There's still, I guess there was quite a few of them there last year. But yeah, I mean, it's great that we're turning over new people all the time.
Yeah.
I always joke. People say, I try to do cons and it's mostly 20-something people, and I'm the old 60-year-old,
Right.
60-plus-year-old guy. And they said, "You sure you want to do this? So you feel comfortable doing it?" I said, "Sure." I said, "All my 20-something friends keep growing up, and then they move on."
Yeah, right.
When I was in high school, way back in the early '70s, when I first got into small press, I knew a guy. He was a teacher there, Chuck Robinson II, and he was he was a big influence on me. He published Comique back in the early 1970s and the late '60s. Worked by Bill Shelley and a lot of other people, and he first got me involved in small press. But the thing was, he was an English teacher in a small town in North Carolina, and he was trying to influence other people to get them started too. I mean, somehow he just found out about me. There was this other weird guy in school that everybody says draws comics, just like the real ones, but they were really very, very crude back in those days. But what he had in his class, he would do a thing where he had asked everybody to draw their own comic book. And you don't know what kind of seeds you're planting or whatever. I wasn't in his class, but that's what he came up with. They came up with a lot of interesting stuff. Looked like crude miniature mini comics and stuff like that. And that was the early '70s. I don't know if any of these people ever went on to do anything greater creatively, but what you can do to influence that next generation.
Sure.
And even if you don't do anything, they're going to come along because this type of creativity is something that comes from God. It's a gift, and it's going to happen. It can't be denied. So interesting that you were doing the same thing, influencing other people.
I was looking through the exhibitors, and of course, I think at this point, how many exhibitors do you have so far? Do you know, Bob?
I don't know the exact number, but I think we sold we have 80 tables.
You have 80 tables. I knew 13 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, going through there. A lot of names I just don't know.
Have to look at
about this is, we seem to have a real good cross section of young and old.
Yeah.
And I think part of that's the longevity of the show. So
I think so. Absolutely. People keep coming back to see their friends.
We've had people get engaged there. We had people get together.
Oh, there's hope for you, Steve. There's hope for Steve.
I was married for 32 years. I don't know if I'm ready right now, but who knows? Maybe I'll meet somebody at Space.
Bob can work on that for you. Get something lined up, Bob.
Yeah. I'm good, so I don't know if Steve.
Oh, not gonna be Bob.
Well, it was interesting because you mentioned, I was going to ask you earlier about your beginnings in small press, and you mentioned how you started O Comics. What was it, in the 1980s?
Yeah, 1988.
Wow.
1988. and how it began. I mean, I've got one of your most recent issues of O Comics right here.
Number
Oh
30.
yeah.
This one has a theme. The
This
theme
is
of this issue is cheese.
cheese.
Yeah, somewhere around issue 6 or 7, we started making a theme every year.
Making a theme issue. I'm gonna have a question about that too. But I'm looking at your artwork in here, and you know, I read somewhere recently, and you were saying, you know, you were doing space for all these years, and you haven't done that many comics. But I got a pile of your comics right over here.
Yeah, we
And
got a bunch. Yeah.
We're not looking.
And here's some of your artwork here.
Right. Yep.
Comic called Grilled Cheese.
Grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Mike, Mike Blues, who started life as a detective.
Oh, he was a detective. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
First stories I did of his for him was probably predates O Comics a couple of years. But now they the last actually. Yeah, he still shows up. I haven't done a constant strip with him, but he'll show up in O Comics just about every year. I have one for the coffee issue, which we're working on right now.
Oh, when is the deadline? April on that?
April 1st, April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day.
This is a collection of all the bunny, what used to be called Bunny Blues, but
Yeah.
this is like after he was a detective. So there's another.
That looked like a pretty thick book.
Yeah, and that's like a 6-issue run that I did for the Leaves, and then there's a bunch of short stories that were in O Comics over the years.
Okay.
So I still bring him back every year for O Comics if I can think of something.
That's cool. That's cool.
There's going to be a 1-page. I don't know if I have it here.
I saw that you said there's going to be a new O Comics by the time of space.
Yeah.
You got another one coming out, number 31. I think.
Yeah, coffee.
Issue 31, the coffee issue.
Coffee.
That's the coffee issue.
I gotta, you know, I drew a Kel Crum Cornelius story for coffee. So I said, I've got to check with Kel to make sure he doesn't mind that I drew his characters, you know.
Yeah, well, he did.
So
I already has his story.
I contacted him. I showed him what I did, and he said, that's very funny, very good. But it's almost the same thing I sent to Bob. So I said, I can't do that.
Share my screen. I could show you the cover for the new one.
Huh?
Okay, I can't. It says host disabled, the screen share.
Oh, you can hold it up in front of your face.
Oh, I don't have it printed out.
I see. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah, I see it. I saw that today on Facebook. Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah,
I commented on that.
Yeah.
I just lost my big screen. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
It happens when you move things.
Yes, we know.
You got a lot of great contributors. That O Comics, it's got your work, but it has other people. Dale Martin.
Yeah.
We
Dale
love
Martin.
Dale Martin.
Oh yeah.
Kel Crum, Matt Fiesel, of course, Jim Mackey and Matt Fiesel. Matt Levin, who does the rubber stamped comics. I've been doing those for quite a while.
Forever. Yeah.
Somehow, nobody else can make it work like Matt. Nobody else could make that work. I could never do that.
Have you ever seen his collection of stamps?
It's got to be enormous.
The collection itself, Walking Man Comics, I know.
He has like a wall.
Imagine. Yeah.
Like little drawers with stamps.
Is that right?
Oh my God.
It's extraordinary. Extraordinary what he does. You know, such a simple thing, you know, but this
You
guy
mentioned
really
Dale Martin. Dale Martin and I traveled together to space one year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what year. 1902, I imagine.
Well, eventually you can go to the space archives. I think I have the last 10 years of exhibitors up on the space archives.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, the end of January, I had started a new website because I had some real problems with my former host. So a lot of it's been copied over, but there's still a lot to do. So I think
okay.
12 years worth of people. You know, I've kept the list. They were up on the old website. The original pages. The first couple shows were on my AOL account.
Be darned. You're kidding. You're kidding.
Those pages over
wow.
other hosts. website, and so they still existed. And then the backgrounds of those were these little blinking stars that I made an animation of, and Tom William hates them. So I was laughing because I was trying to get them back up on the new website, and I think I can. I just need to find the original file. And
have you heard anything from Larry Blake?
I've been talking to Larry Blake. Larry
okay.
Is probably not coming to space.
Ah.
He is trying to do something about his legacy.
Right.
He wanted to see if I could get his stuff into Ohio State, the Billy Ireland thing, Billy Ireland Library, and I tried to make a trip over there. Like I was going to do it like right after New Year's to go. I had talked to Ohio State, and I had also talked to Michigan State, because Michigan State has the largest collection of comic books, where Ohio State has the largest collection of comic strips.
Okay.
But they also, have moved into somewhat of the comic stuff. So I was trying to see if we could give all Larry's work to one or both of those. And both of them kind of had to put a roadblock up about having a definitive list of what that entails. So I was trying to get over to see Larry to start some kind of, start that inventory. And he kind of called me off. He says, "No, I got to pull all this stuff from somewhere." He's wheelchair bound.
That's what I was going to say.
Larry is one of my greatest old friends from way back in the early '70s. We've done so much stuff together, and I just talked to him on the phone about a month and a half ago. But you lived close to Larry?
No, he's in Indiana right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's in Indiana.
Right on the Ohio River in Indiana, about way. And I'm, a couple hours to get there. So.
A couple hours.
Yeah. So I was going to go over for a day or a couple days.
I didn't know you were so close to Larry. I think that's great.
Well, he used to live down southeast Ohio, so he was a lot closer then. But
Reedsville, Ohio, I believe.
Reedsville, yeah, I remember that. That is right. Yeah.
Down in Athens and Ohio.
Yeah.
But I've known Larry forever, and he's always been in space. He's contributed.
Oh yeah.
Right. One of the greatest small press creators ever. Over all these decades. I met him in Chicago in person twice. Of course, we've corresponded for many years and did a lot of work together. But I mentioned to Larry about. Larned and I will have a table at Space, and he said he wasn't planning on going, and then he said, "Well, if you guys are going, maybe I will." But
Larned, if you're coming through Indiana, if you could pick him up, he'll probably. I mean, that's his biggest problem is to get.
Okay, but he would have to have somebody with him at the table to help him, wouldn't he?
He can handle that once he gets his stuff in.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Just how far off the path
I could set you guys up
Larry's.
all in a row, so there's somebody. I do that all the time. I try to. That's one of the reasons I think space works well. I always ask everybody, who do you want to be adjacent to? So friends are next to friends. So if you want to wander off and go shopping, your buddy can, keep your table.
Right.
Yeah, I know you always used to put Steve and I together. That was really nice. Appreciated that. And I don't mean Steve, I mean
Who's
Tim.
the other guy? Oh, Tim.
You're Steve. You're Steve.
Who?
I'm talking about Tim Corrigan, who's another guy entirely. Hey, Bob, I wanted to make sure before we forget to ask you if you have anything you want to add about space that we haven't talked about.
Well, it will be June 10th and 11th.
That's what I wanted, yeah.
Ohio Expo Center at the Road Center at the Ohio Expo Center, which is the fairgrounds. And, it's looking pretty good. We're got 80 tables sold. I still got about
80
50
tables.
or so.
How many more, maybe?
About 50.
Wow, you could have 50 more?
It's a big place, and we got 8-foot tables. So.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
How many tables did you have in the early days?
Yeah.
The very first one, I think we had 36 exhibitors.
That's respectable, though.
That wasn't bad for a first-time show.
That's how many came in the door too. So that wasn't
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw the
I
list
think we
of
were at
exhibitors.
100 when we left there 4 years later.
Mm. Wow. That's great.
Wow.
Yeah. And you might have something you think at the Laughing Ogre on Friday night.
It has been a pre-party at the Laughing Ogre most of the years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there will be a after party. I usually let that up to somebody local if they want to do that, and we'll do that. I'm trying to remember what we did last year. I don't even remember. But so that might happen.
That'd be
we
great.
are in Columbus, and the Billy Ireland is here at Ohio State. So if you're in town, that's always a good to go. It's also the same weekend as, unfortunately, I found this out later, and maybe this isn't a big deal. It is the same weekend as the Columbus Art Festival. So there'll be art going on downtown here.
On street fair?
Yeah,
Out in the street,
big. Yeah. All the way across, it's 2 bridges across the, I'm trying to think what it is. It's the Olentangy River.
Sure.
Yeah.
Scioto River coming through.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to that art festival, and I'm going to hand out flyers for space. See how many people we can get to come over.
That's not a bad idea. They'll be there Friday. They're going to start Friday.
We will be driving all day Friday. It takes about 6 hours to get there from. We're going to be coming from St. Louis, so
that's
pretty good drive.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking Kansas City. That's 12 hours. You're about 8 hours.
Yeah. Well, no, it's about 6, I think.
Okay.
About 6.
You're going faster than me.
I was showing this to Larned. I got a little index card. I'm writing out the dates of space and the dates of the. I have to catch an airplane to the St. Louis airport, Lambert Field, and all this stuff. Trying to coordinate all this stuff.
We have an airport here too, Steve. You could fly here.
No. I want to ride with me. I don't want to drive by myself.
We already discussed this. I'm going to Larned's. Larned's going to drive there. Larned's going to drive back. And I'm going to catch a plane from St. Louis.
Yeah.
Field trips are more fun. Yep.
Yeah. Right.
I used to take a carload of people over to SPX every year, so we always.
Yeah.
Oh, do you? Yeah. That's good. Well, I was gonna mention we're gonna talk a little bit about your comics before we're done here.
I did mention his comic. I also want to
say
I
thought these were. Go ahead. I was just gonna say these two I think are interesting because they're based on Jake Parker's Inktober drawing prompts.
Right. Yep.
And I did this one time to draw a story with all those daily prompts. Not easy. And you've done 2 of them. It is fun, but you've done
3. I've done 3 of them.
3? I got 2.
But a book called Strong Leaf and Daughter. That was the first one.
Okay.
And that came out pretty well. I was pretty happy with that. And,
I did it 1 year. I did it in 2021, 2022. I didn't do it. I did the prompts, but I didn't do a story. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Well, the point there, that was last October's book.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not going to do it this year. And so I didn't start till the 13th.
Oh.
I did the whole book.
Oh my gosh.
From the 13th to the 26th. So I did it in 13 days. So it looks it though. You can
I had actually written a question I was going to ask you. It was a long question because I was talking. It says, I'll read it to you, but it's, I noticed the themes of the issues of old comics, and then the themes of Inktober, a different theme for every page. I said, I noticed you like to do comics based on themes. It's most evident in your zine, Felica's Quest, an Inktober project you did with 31 pages, 1 for each day of the month, and each day a new descriptive, etc. So I'm going to fast forward here. An epic space adventure, which reads very well. Some of the descriptors include sleep, bulky, storm. Do you prefer to work within a structure like that, where you have the themes given to you, or do you prefer to do a scripted comic or stream of consciousness comics? What is your preference?
I don't know if there's a preference.
Doesn't have
big
one.
Question, right?
The nice thing about that is I could do that fast, and because you know
it gives you a word you can build off of.
You
Yeah.
already have an idea.
Yeah.
The 24-hour comics I've done and the mini comic day comics I've done, which were supposed to be done, you know, in a day. I'll start with maybe a word prompt from, you know, a random word generator, just
Yeah, get you going.
Yeah. And I do a lot of, like, well, you've seen some of the plans books. Those are all scripted.
Right.
Okay.
Well, scripted and not scripted, because a lot of it is just sitting down and working out everything, the words and the pictures together. But I'll try to start with a script on those and do have
Right.
some
Plans number 1 right here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Steve's got that. Yeah.
Have some of your artwork.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of it in color, some of it in full color.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah. Cool.
And
Yeah.
very cool stuff.
Oh, I know one more thing about space. The
Okay.
Space Jam. Are you going to do we do a Space Jam this year?
Yeah, I will do that. We did have one last year. I'm trying to think if I put it up anywhere. It was at the Laughing Over the night before.
Yeah.
Started.
Yeah.
And then I think we finished it up at Space on Saturday.
Yeah, everybody just goes up and draws on the big poster board.
I have one for every year, including one we did the COVID year, 2020. Half of it was done by people sending me sketches online and me pasting them up on on a file.
Oh, okay.
And then eventually printed out at my sign makers. Ready Quick print, Ready Quick. If you ever need a sign here in Columbus.
Okay.
And then the other half was actually a board that sat at the Ogre, because the Ogre was open through COVID. A lot of restrictions over there, but we sat that out, and even had hand sanitizer, so when you were done or starting, you could
wash your hands.
So that part of it is hand drawn. So at Space last year, we actually had that board put together, 80 inches by 30 inches, which is what most of them are.
Yeah.
So
that's
we'll
cool.
have one of those.
That's fun.
I have one from every year, and I keep.
Oh, okay. Let's do it this year. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Tradition. So we got to do that.
The other thing I was going to talk about, another one of your comics. This one I can really relate to.
Okay.
Because I am not musical in any way. I wouldn't even attempt it. I can't do something with this hand and something different with this hand. I can't do it. It's impossible. So this really hit home with me. I really like this. Very, very good.
That bit about my kids learning.
Yeah.
Actually, when my daughter was learning to play the guitar, I'd have her, when she got home, show me what your teacher just showed you. So
But I had the nuns, and everything in grade school. I had all the nuns.
We're still here, yeah.
Yeah,
I read that story.
We survived it somehow. Getting wrapped across the knuckles with a ruler. It was fun.
Somebody had a T-shirt that said, "You can't scare me. I was taught by nuns."
Exactly.
It's weird, but I had a similar experience, only different. You were saying, Bob, you were saying you didn't know that you were nearsighted or whatever, and you couldn't see what you were supposed to be reacting to there. When I was in school, in elementary school, or maybe just sixth grade or something, I remember there was a glee club. We had to sign up for the glee club. Could you sing?
Oh.
Well, I mean, over the past few decades, I've done recordings, I've sung stuff, but at that time, I had to audition with the music teacher, and she had a piano, and you sang, and I was nervous. I heard myself on a tape recorder, and I thought I didn't sound very good, and I was shy. I told her, I said, I don't think I sing very good. She says, let me be the judge of that, Okay, so she played the piano, and I sang. I did not get into the glee club, but that's okay.
Yeah, right.
I did learn to play guitar later, and
Steve plays. Yeah,
it all turned out okay. And besides, comics was my thing even then.
My introduction to that book, when somebody picks it up at at a convention, I'll say, that book is the reason I'm here drawing comics. And stuff.
There you go. There you go.
The world is probably better for it.
There you go.
The other one I really like is this one, Stars.
Right.
And I like it because of the fact that you used Van Gogh's Starry, Starry Night all the way through as the background.
Right. That's if you read the front, that is a painting I did, a copy
of that. Yeah, I did read that. Yeah.
Copy of Van Gogh.
Yeah.
Back in high school, back around 1972.
Yeah, there it is, back out the window. Very cool. Very cool idea. I like that.
My in-laws while I was in college. I was married and in college, and we lived at my in-laws, and all my stuff came down to their house. Mm-hmm. And about, I think it's 2005, after I've lived out in Columbus for 30 years or so, we went to visit, and I found that painting up in my in-laws' attic. I said, I got to do something with this. So
yeah, that's a very good idea. Very good. I really like that.
One of the most
nice comic.
One of the most positive things I've done. And I always said that that's because I was on happy pills at the time, which I'm not.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I want to ask you too. What size do you consider this? I like this size.
That's a 6x9, which is a standard trade paperback size. It's not a
trade paperback size. Okay.
If you noticed, none of my comics correlate to comic size.
Right, you're right. Well, this one's close, but not exact. That's like a digest, but
that's well, no, I do digest size. I do mini comic size.
Oh, okay. Right. That is digest. Okay. But I really like this size.
Something Bob did.
Yeah.
Woo! Look out.
Monster.
Daunting artwork there.
That's just scribbles.
Scribbles. That's done in kind of a stick figure style. That particular story.
Mike Carroll
styles.
Mike will be around again.
Mike Carroll.
Number 31. Mike's.
Yeah.
He probably has more pages in No Comics than I do.
Really?
I think he started the second year.
By the way, this one is from
Chandu.
This is 2021.
Yeah.
And this one's $8. Okay. This one is 2022 and is $7.95. So you get a big discount.
You get a 5-cent discount.
You get a huge
the more
discount.
Recent one.
I didn't want to do
Bob's
that
color
for
cover.
years. I thought, that? It's like $7.01. In my head, it's $8.
Yeah. Right. But I thought that was good.
There's a lot of great stuff in these.
I think all the stuff on the website is
terrific.
Priced that way now. I don't know why that works, but I guess it works. Getting a better deal because it's a new
Bob, we're going to be talking more about your comics in the next episode because we have a review show coming up in a week after this one. Mm-hmm. And we've been getting a lot of stuff, very gratifying that a lot of people from small press comics are sending in their stuff. They're, because the thing is, is something you mentioned earlier, but we're not in it to get free comics.
Yeah, I know. That's a tough part.
We're in it to promote.
That's a tough part because in order for us to do this, you got to send a copy to Steve and a copy to me.
And me.
And Steve.
That's why the space price takes too long because I don't want to try to get 2 free copies or 3 free copies for them.
Right.
I'm real happy. Yeah. We'll pass it around so it takes a little time.
Yeah.
And once people find out that you're out there, you're reviewing their comics and stuff, they start to send you stuff, and that's great.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
we're very fortunate.
Yeah, sometimes people send you everything they published for the last 20 years, and you're just looking for the most recent.
I've had incidences of that where a guy came up to the Space Prize and handed me a pile about like.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, my life's work. Here's my life's work.
Right.
Yeah.
Like three different versions of the same thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So we limit it to whatever comics came out that you put out from the last space to the current.
Yeah.
Recent.
That's right.
So recent work. That's what we want to do. We're looking at now, and we're looking at the future.
Right.
And that's another question.
Yeah,
what are your plans for space in the future?
Yeah. Same thing?
I'll keep going as long as I can.
Keep going. All right. That's
I'm
good.
57. I'm retired 2.5 years now.
Uh-huh.
Or almost 3.
Well,
And
great.
I'm just going to keep going as long as I'm healthy and
You know, I'm glad to hear it. That's great. Yeah.
and it'd be nice to find a successor. I don't know. I know a couple people that are, I would trust with it, but
Yeah.
you want it?
Yeah, right.
That's the whole
You don't have a hotel recommendation yet, do you?
Not yet. I hate getting involved in that because I don't use those hotels. And
Yeah. The only
my,
thing about it,
yeah.
if you do that, it gets the cartoonists kind of all in the same hotel. We can meet in the lobby and things like that. So
yeah,
it's
I
a
like
good
that.
deal.
Every time I've done that, it seems like it's cheaper for everybody to go like on hotels.com to get it than any block would.
We don't need a block. We just need to know which one you recommend. The closest one to the venue or whatever.
To the convention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you could do that.
I was going to actually send out an email to everybody, all the exhibitors that are coming, and take recommendations from them because they've experienced those hotels.
Yeah, well, I haven't been there for a long time, so I don't know. But
and now we're in a little different area, and honestly, the hotels that are right there, I've had complaints about. So I
okay.
Generally, they'll be north of the fairgrounds. Fairgrounds is right on I-71.
Okay.
Going north and south through town. You're coming
north.
You're coming in on 70, so you'll be heading north up on 71.
Okay.
So I will probably find something up the road from there.
Okay.
We were at the what is now a U-Haul place, the old Ramada.
Mm-hmm.
A whole bunch of horror stories there. Let me just say this: it was not a Ramada. It just said it was. But
it was not. It just said so.
Are upset about it.
I can't even remember where I stayed. I mean, it's been quite a while since I've been there.
I mean, Ramada was not great, but it was great that we could. And I would love to have a show in a hotel like that.
Yeah.
Show is in the hotel, and you can go upstairs.
Oh, that would be great. That would be the ideal.
That was we did that twice, and both those hotels went down.
Oh.
And the problem I have is I get too good of deals.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, because they're on their last leg, so they're real happy.
Oh yeah, come on. Yeah.
You got to expect that. So
yeah.
So. Well, the most decent quality hotel that's close to the convention, and that's where we want to be.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we want to be at the convention. If we have to sleep in sleep in the car.
We'd like to be able to make it to the convention from the hotel. Yeah.
I did mean to. A couple minute drive down, from like 161 or Morse Road area.
Okay.
The hotels are the Easton area.
Okay.
So, again, where we used to have, that was probably the best place for hotels over by Easton, the shopping center. But that's a little.
Oh, I did stay over there. I remember that. That's where I stayed last time. The last show.
East, but it's more of an upscale area.
Yeah. So that was very nice, really. Yeah.
So upscale's okay. We'll go for that. You're not the only one who's retired. We're both retired. I'm retired, but not really retired. I'm collecting a retirement check. Mm-hmm. I'll be 67 next month on April 20th. Thank you. Happy birthday.
For making it this far.
But
and go ahead.
I'm still working. They won't let me go. Happily I reached full retirement age.
And I get a pension. I get a pension from the Civil War. So I'm retired also. Yeah.
So all you young people watching, man, this is what it's like when you're retired. Look at us guys. You're gonna be just like us one day.
This looks pretty good.
Not as smart, but
thank you.
Otherwise, Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I dyed a
About
mustache.
200 miles this month, so I'm way better than I ever expected. So
Well, there you go. That's right. It's not so bad. It's okay.
No,
You're getting
right.
money from the government and whatever.
Yeah.
You're
oh,
going to
yeah,
comic conventions. How can you complain?
I like my Social Security check. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm living on
Yeah. I know.
pays for space.
Well, this has been fun. I hope you enjoyed it, Bob. We had a great time.
Oh, yeah.
I had
So
a blast. That was great.
I guess we will wrap it up. And
Pleasure and an honor to meet you. Talk with you, Bob, and I'll be seeing you again in 3 or 4 months here.
yep, can't wait to see you at the show. So we will see you there.
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thanks for letting me talk to people here.
Oh, we're happy you did it.